quite easy. So the first thing to talk about is the scrotum as part of the external genital organs. So we're basically talking about the male urogenital triangle. The distal urethra, we will talk about it later, it's not hard. So over here, we'll be looking at the scrotum. The thing is that, so scrotum, it's the coverage of the testicles, all right? It contains a pigmented skin, which is quite thick, all right? And the other thing is that deeper to the skin of the scrotum, here you see, here's the skin of the scrotum, deeper to that, you haven't got much of fat, but instead you've got a fascia which is called dartus fascia, contains dartus muscle. All right? So you have the skin of the scrotum, then dartus fascia and dartus muscle. Then in the midline, two parts of the scrotum, they are meeting with each other in the scrotal raphe. Which scrotal raphe, deep to that you have got the scrotal septum, separating the scrotum into two cavities for the left and right testes, so they are separated from each other.
Where do they meet again?
In the midline.
Yeah, I know them.
So
What exactly the two dartus fascia?
the whole thing, because there is like two different sides, like the embryo is or like developed symmetrically.
Yeah.
So scrotum is developed from two sides, and then they meet with each other here as scrotal raphe. But still, if you're looking at it, then this scrotal raphe can continue with the penile raphe. So the, let's say, septum of the penis, look at it deep to that. So they are totally continuous with each other.
Also originated from
Yeah, and then from the other side, you've got the perineal raphe, the line between the anus and the base of the scrotum. So on the perineal raphe, somewhere here, is location of the perineal body, deep to the skin, the ones we talked about. All right?
And the other body is posterior to
Anococcygeal body will be here. Yeah. All right then. So that's pretty much about these guys. If you're talking about the scrotum itself, so the main thing would be the dartus fascia and dartus muscle and its function. So the dartus muscle, first of all, the testis is out of the abdominal cavity because of the temperature of the sperm production. The thing is that what happens to the, like let's say if a man or whatever, or any of us, if we go to the jacuzzi, if there is a warm water, what happens with the scrotum? It relaxes. Why do we need that? So basically the dartus muscle relaxes, so it makes the testes to be farther from the body because you're already in the hot water, okay? So you need less warmth from your body. And opposite happens once you're jumping into the cold water. So the scrotum is gonna be, or the dartus muscles are gonna be contracting, so scrotum becomes so thicker and wrinkled, so brings the testis up toward the body, because the body, there is a thermoregulation going on by the sympathetic nerves. So the body realizes that the testis now is in the cold area, so it needs to get some warmth from the body, so you bring it closer. That's pretty much about it.
This dartus muscle, is it skeletal or smooth? Or?
It's smooth. All right?
Just ask. Well, I can tell.
All right. If it's a skeletal, then you have to be able to contract it yourself,
Voluntarily.
but you can't. All right. Are we good so far? About the blood supply and nerve supply, as we said, as I just mentioned earlier, the main ones are posterior scrotal nerves and vessels from pudendal nerve and internal pudendal artery. There is the anterior scrotal artery, as I said, from external pudendal, which comes from femoral. There is also anterior scrotal nerve from ilioinguinal nerve.
You did the arteries last time, right?
No, right now, we just,
No, I mean like the full thing.
we did the branches of internal iliac, now we did the branches of branches. So it wasn't something related to last time. So ilioinguinal nerve gives a branch to supply the anterior side of the scrotum. There is also anterolateral nerve of the scrotum, but doesn't matter. Make sure you know the anterior and posterior. All right? I mean, more of it, I just wrote them down. Any question? That was it. Penis has root up here, body, and the glands. All right? So the root of the penis, we just talked about it. What forms it? Right? Crura of the penis, right and left crus of the penis, plus the bulb. And associated muscles with it. Bulbospongiosus and ischiocavernosus muscles. All right? It wasn't something hard. From the other side, you've got the body of the penis. Body of the penis does not contain any muscle. Okay? So here's a cross section over the body, as you see here. So the body contains skin, some amount of fat, the superficial and deep fascia of the penis, the erectile bodies of the penis, the urethra, and the blood vessels and nerves and so on. Alright? So these are what we've got in the body. So the muscles, such as ischiocavernosus, they just attach to the base of the corpus cavernosum, for example. They do not continue down through the body. Okay?
So what are these erectile body composed of?
Specific erectile tissues, like
That's the question. What's erectile?
Sinuses that dilated and filled with blood, and then you have the erection.
yeah.
But the wall itself.
Sinus.
It's endothelium.
It's like a
Sinus.
kind of connective tissue, but
Sinus,
you
like
should-
we have in every.
yeah. So it should be maybe dense connective tissue with spaces for the vessels. All right then. So are we good so far? So we talked about the root of the penis, now the body. Okay. So let's just, since we are talking about the body, so let's talk about these guys. I mean, I would say a lot of it you've done in histology. So two corpus cavernosum you've got on the dorsal side, and a single corpus spongiosum you've got on the ventral side, which you've got the urethra passing through it, the fourth part of the male urethra, spongy part. The thing is that each of these guys, they've got a capsule surrounding them called tunica albuginea.
All three have
All three.
separate?
Yeah. Two corpora cavernosa, incompletely, they are separated from each other by the septum of the penis in the midline. Not kind of incompletely. All right? Then, within the corpora cavernosa, there is a deep artery of the penis, which I just told you. So deep artery of the penis is a major guy responsible for erection. The thing is that in the non-erected phase of the penis, there are some vessels arising from the deep artery which are kind of like that. They are coiled arteries. These guys are called as helicine arteries. Okay? Helicine arteries are under control of the parasympathetic nerves. What's the function of the parasympathetic nerves on the blood vessels? Vasodilation. So if you've got the helicine,
Okay.
Helicin.
yeah.
They
So
form helixes. So that's why.
So the thing is that if parasympathetic nerves are activated, so these helicine arteries become straight, so more blood leaves from them, enters the spaces of the corpus cavernosum on each side, so it makes it filled with blood, so it makes it to be larger. All right?
This
So-
one parasympathetic.
This is parasympathetic. Later we will talk about the, let's say, erection stuffs of the male, and we will say,
Ejaculation,
yeah,
sympathetic.
exactly. Ejaculation is mixed. Sympathetic, parasympathetic, and motor. We will see. So that's pretty much. Since you've got the tunica albuginea covering each of these guys, then the whole thing is covered by deep fascia of the penis. All right? Even deep fascia of the penis sends a septum to separate those two guys from the corpus spongiosum. Deep fascia of the penis is actually related to the deep perineal fascia. No, that's for the testis. Okay? So deep fascia of the penis, or buck fascia, is related to the deep perineal fascia. Alright? So once you're looking at the dorsal side, deep to deep. Deep fascia means down here, 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 and here. You've got the dorsal, deep dorsal vein of the penis in the center. Alright, in the middle, that's important. On each side of it, you have the dorsal artery of the penis, and lateral to that you have dorsal nerve of the penis. So vein, artery, and nerve from medial to the lateral. So one vein, then two arteries, then two nerves.
One vein, two arteries, two nerves.
Yeah. And then
Where does the vein come from?
the vein will, let's say, finally drain into the internal pudendal veins. Alright? Then, if you're looking at the deep fascia over here, so again, between the deep fascia and the skin up here, what have you got? The superficial dorsal vein of the penis. Okay? So dorsal vein of the penis has a deep one and a superficial one. So superficial one is the one closer to the skin and drains the skin of the penis. Alright? So that one is usually dissected off. You don't really see it. The deep dorsal is the major one that you find. Are we good so far? And again, around that, if you see this picture, wait up. So layer by layer, if you're going down, so here's the corpus cavernosum, dorsal artery, deep dorsal vein, and the nerve. So this should be the deep fascia of the penis, okay? Because it covers these guys. Then more superficially, this other fascia that you have is the superficial of the penis with the dartus fascia of the penis. Alright? So then,
Wait, which one again?
dartus fascia is more superficial to the deep fascia, of course.
The butt.
Like if you remember, in the perineum, how it worked, colles fascia, we said is continues with the dartus fascia of the penis and scrotum. That was the superficial one. Here's the superficial one. The deep perineal fascia, we say now is continues with the buccal fascia, with the deep fascia of the penis. Superficial with superficial, deep with the deep.
Can you repeat that again?
So colles fascia, which was a superficial perineal fascia, is going to be continuous with this guy,
Yeah.
which is the dartus fascia of the penis.
Dartus. Okay.
Yeah. Then deep perineal fascia is continuous with the deep fascia of the penis.
Yeah.
That's it. Are we good? It wasn't that hard. The next guy is the glans, the tip of the penis or the head of the penis. So the glans is actually how is it formed? This picture is good. Here we have the cross section, longitudinal cross section of the penis. So here these are the parts of the corpus cavernosa, and this is corpus spongiosum, contains the urethra running with it. Okay? So if you see where the corpora cavernosa are like done, they are over, the corpus spongiosum becomes expanded to form the glans of the penis. So glans of the penis is formed by corpus spongiosum. It makes sense because this is a guy contains the urethra, and urethra has to exit. It has to have the opening out of it. All right? It's kind of frozen again. No. So then, once you're looking at the glans of the penis, at the tip you have external urethral orifice. Once you're reaching to the margins of it, so there is the marginal part of the glans which is called corona of the penis or corona of the glans, which is kind of located over the corpus cavernosum on each side. Okay, so corona is the folding, not the folding, basically is the marginal part here.
It's where the cavernosum stops.
Yeah, exactly. And then, right at the back of the corona of the glans, you have the neck of the glans. That's it. So basically, we talked about the blood, like in the meantime, we talked about the blood supply and nerve supply of the penis as well. So it's a quite easy one. Nothing much. The next thing is, by the way, we also talked about the suspensory ligament of the penis from the pubic symphysis toward the dorsal side of the root of the penis. And there is one more ligament. Maybe would be good to know it. See, here you've got the linea alba in the midline coming down and then dividing into two parts, here and here. So linea alba forms another ligament of the penis. Fundiform ligament, we call that. Well, it's something like maybe too much of detail, all right? So fundiform ligament later on will join with the dartus fascia, all right? So here is a good picture about the facial coverage of the penis. The green one is the deep fascia of the penis, this guy. Then the blue one is gonna be the dartus fascia of the penis, which is continuous with the dartus fascia of the scrotum. Okay? So that's pretty much.
What about the lymph? Where does it go?
The lymph of the penis mainly goes toward either internal iliac, and some of it goes toward the internal iliac first, some of the other goes toward the inguinal lymph nodes.
Didn't we say lumbar?
Lumbar is testis.
Oh, so sorry,
Some
sorry,
goes
okay.
to the common.
Hmm?
He says exam going to the common.
It could be, but mainly is the penis is related to the internal iliac,
The testes goes to
Vein.
the lumbar.
okay?
That's right.
Because here you have the internal pudendal artery and vein in the case of the blood supply and venous drainage. So then the blood goes back toward the internal iliac lymph nodes first.
Wait, what's the difference between the superficial inguinal nodes and the deep inguinal?
Superficial ones are located, like, more superficial deep ones are located closer to the subinguinal hiatus.
It's like
But this is too much of detail,
Okay.
like that much that I wrote. Just know the inguinal and internal iliac. So
That's it.
Yeah.
movement.
no, it has nothing to do with that. No, not really.
From both the penis and the scrotum testes as well.
Yeah, not the testis, penis and the scrotum. Is mainly toward internal iliac lymph nodes and inguinal. All right. The very last thing for today. So again, arterial supply. I wrote it here. I mentioned the artery to the bulb of the penis and so on. And the next thing is gonna be about erection of the penis and let's say the sexual functions of it to see how it works. So there are 4 phases. The first phase is erection. The second phase is emission. Third phase is ejaculation. Fourth phase is remission. Okay? So erection is, how is it done? So as I said, that you remember the helicine arteries in the corpora cavernosa. As I said, under the control of the parasympathetic nerves, you will have vasodilation. So the corpora cavernosa will be filled by blood. So it's the initial, let's say, event of making the erection. From the other side, the muscles which we had at the base of the penis, or I mean at the root of the penis, wait up. The issue cavernosus muscles and bulbospongiosus muscles, these guys also contract, okay, to keep the erection. How? In a way that these muscles will compress the veins. So again, once you also compress the veins, more blood stays in the penis.
Because it doesn't go back.
Yeah, so you're increasing the blood supply and you're blocking somehow the venous drainage. Okay? So you will get the erection done. So erection is parasympathetic. Next thing is emission. Means what? You have to bring the sperm and let's say other fluids all together to form the semen. So,
Sorry, bro.
That's why I told you.
Yeah.
2 hours it's already too much.
No.
We will be
so
dead.
we're done. So the thing is that,
Do you realize from the eyes?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
so the thing is that, how does the sperm and other fluids are making their way toward the urethra? By contraction. Prostate should be contracted, the ductus deferens should be contracted, all right? So these guys are under control of the sympathetic nerves because these are smooth muscles. So emission is sympathetic because you have contraction of these smooth muscles. Then ejaculation, as I said, is mixture of everything. Something really important. The thing is that the pathway of the urination and ejaculation is same. The first thing that has to happen in the body is to contract the internal urethral sphincter in the bladder. Because once you're having the ejaculation, you don't want the semen to go back to the bladder. So there should be one unidirectional way out of the body. So internal urethral sphincter is under control of alpha 1 receptors.
Parasympathetic. Or sympathetic.
Alpha, sympathetic.
So, alpha,
Sympathetic. So you have the
It's like the heart. Sorry.
yeah, vessels.
Vessels, sorry.
So you have all, like the internal anal sphincter, it's the same. So you have the sympathetic innervation to be activated to contract the internal urethral sphincter. That's the sympathetic component of the ejaculation. So, in the case of the somatic innervation, you also have it there. You will have the contraction of these muscles. Bulbous, like you will have the more contraction, bulbous spongiosus and corpora cavernosa. And even bulbous spongiosus is there to contract, to let's say to get the last drops of the even urine or semen out of the body. So that's the somatic part of it. And then the parasympathetic part, in the wall of the urethra you also have muscles. And urethra is innervated by parasympathetic nerves. So contraction of the urethral muscles is the parasympathetic. Once more, sympathetic for internal urethral sphincter, not to have the retro ejaculation. So semen goes out of the body. Somatic innervation to these muscles, parasympathetic innervation to urethral muscles. So you will shut out the semen
But
out of the
there
way.
will cause contraction.
Hmm?
No, parasympathetic will cause dilation.
Yeah, but and contraction of the urethra. All right?
No, 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 no.
Are we good?
No, no, I'm just a bit lost because.
In which part?
No, no, I continue no problem.
All right.
No,
So then
the-
after the
the-
class, ask me.
No, the it's just because you close the urethral sphincter first for a sympathetic response.
Yeah.
And then you want it to be unidirectional, so that's why I do the parasympathetic again.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
Sympathetic will open it, no?
The thing is that sympathetic closes the internal urethral sphincter.
Right.
Okay. So
And the parasympathetic.
parasympathetic nerves, they supply the urethral muscles. So
Okay.
the muscles in the, let's say, spongy urethra, they contract to shut out the
Okay, okay.
sperm out of the way.
And that's parasympathetic.
That's parasympathetic.
And what's somato?
Somato is these muscles here.
Okay.
Somatomotor.
So these are the skeletal muscles. Like you can try at home, you can play around. Okay? So that's the somatic innervation of the penis. Remission is the last phase after everything is done. So you want to get back to the normal flaccid state. Means you need the sympathetic nerves to activate, to have the, let's say, those helicine arteries which were straight, you want to have the vasoconstriction of them. So first one, parasympathetic. The last phase is sympathetic. Because with parasympathetic you do vasodilation, you start the erection. With sympathetic you do vasoconstriction, so you stop.
For the
The last phase, remission.
Yeah, I know, but you do it for
Which one?
like which muscle?
No, we're talking about the arteries.
Okay. okay.
Those
Yeah,
heavy
yeah,
thin
okay,
vessels.
yeah.
So that's it.
Okay.
And in the theoretical exam, definitely they will ask you, like all these phases. So make sure you know what nervous system is responsible for which phase.
Okay.
All right?
Good morning.
Me